Welcome back to another video and welcome to the inside of the Chery Tiggo Cross. Now, this should be the perfect little compact SUV on paper, but let's see if that's actually true. So let's get into it. See there, over rev, 4,500 RPM, and that's not what I wanted. So the quicker I can make this video, the quicker I can get out and hopefully not have to experience it any further. I do feel that there's a bit of a balance there with the features, technology, and overall value for money. Okay, so the Chery Tiggo Cross. Now, as I mentioned up front, this should be the perfect car on paper because from a pricing point of view, it's pretty well priced. This range starts off from 399,000 Rand for the Comfort and tops out at 449,000 for the Elite version, which comes with everything. So digital screens, comfort features like heated seats, electronically adjustable seats, all of your lane keep assists, and all those fancy features like that, as well as 360 camera systems, sunroofs. So a whole bunch of kit that you'll get for this car when getting it. Even if you're getting the comfort version, which is the entry one, you're still getting a lot of value for money. But I'm going to say that I need to make this video as quick as possible because I'm experiencing something I've never really had before. And this seat is rubbing against the center console, making not a very pleasant sound that doesn't ever end. So I don't know if my mic's going to pick it up because it's quite specific over here, but you're not going to hear it. But I'll overlay what I'm currently hearing in the car the whole time. So the quicker I can make this video, the quicker I can get out and hopefully not have to experience it any further. Okay, so let's get into the important bits here. So we've mentioned pricing, but what is actually powering this car? So you've got a 1.5 litre turbocharged petrol engine, putting out 108 kilowatts and 210 Newton meters of torque, which is actually some decent power. I like the way that this car feels when you're driving. If you put your foot down and wanting to overtake, it'll do it. It's got enough power to do that. It's not a very heavy car, so the power to weight ratio is definitely in its favor. This car also comes with a new gearbox. So it's got a 6-speed dual clutch transmission, which sounds like it should be pretty good and quite sporty, but it's not really that nice, and it's probably what lets this car down the most, besides for this noise. But it's the gearbox, because it's a little bit shaky on start. It sometimes feels like the car is going to be stalling at some points when you're stopped at a traffic light or you're wanting to pull off. There's a little bit of a shudder that feels a bit strange, and it is a little bit jerky too in between changing gears. So it's not the best experience when trying to drive this like what you should be doing with a car, because a car's most important thing is how does it feel when driving. So the gearbox is not that great, and I feel like that then affects the engine, because when you're pulling off, there's a little bit of a lag, then it pulls off and you go fast, and then I don't know. It's not great, so I think they need to do a little bit more work on the 6-speed dual clutch transmission, because it could be a lot better. But what is good is the engine, but what's letting that down from a fuel consumption point of view is then the gearbox, because this car tends to be just highly revving all the time. It doesn't want to even, I keep the car in eco mode, so for me it shouldn't be high revving at all, but it still does. It holds the gears when it should be changing a lot earlier. So if I'm going into first and I expect the car to at least be going into second by now, it's still going into 3,000 RPM where it shouldn't be. So I feel like the gearbox setup needs a lot more work. It could make this car a lot better to drive, so it'll make the fuel consumption better and it'll make the overall driving experience a hell of a lot better too. Okay, so let's move on to more of a positive note. Now, what I do want to commend this car on is how comfortable it is to drive. For me, the suspension is really great. It absorbs the road imperfections quite nicely, and it gives you a nice, pretty smooth driving experience. And because it's an SUV and you've got quite a high tire wall, it is absorbing those road imperfections, and it's giving you quite a composed driving experience. So I quite like that. It's comfortable to drive, but more than that, it's filled with a whole bunch of tech and stuff that makes it a really nice car and makes you feel like you're getting a lot of good value for money. Because in front of the driver, you're getting 2 full digital displays. You're getting one in front here, and then you're getting a second one for your infotainment, where you're also going to get wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, a full 360 camera system. You can do all of your car settings and your climate control. But that being said, this is where I feel like Chery has done a good thing, because they've listened to people and they've made adjustments to this car which people have been asking for to make the experience even better. So some of the examples around that is going to start off at the climate control. So you've got a separate screen down here at the bottom, which kind of shows your climate settings and your current state of where you are with your climate control. Okay, so it's going to show you your speed, your fans, your directions, and all of that, which you will see in the screen as well. But down here, they've given you separate buttons to be able to control the stuff that you need to on the fly. So you can adjust the fan speed and you can adjust the temperature with physical buttons, which is a huge plus. So well done on that point, Chery. We love it. The second thing that I want to mention is that when you look into your car settings, like putting it into eco, or changing some of your safety things, like you want the lane keep assist on, or you don't want it to beep, or you don't want the lane departure warning to keep beeping and things like that. If you change it and you turn the car off and you come back into the car, normally it would have just restored to default settings and you would have to go through that whole process again. But now it keeps all of those settings, so every time you get in and out of the car, you're always going to have the same experience as you had previously, which again makes it a great driving experience because they've thought about that, and that's what people want. They want a consistent driving feeling when they're in their car. Like when I got out of it and when I get into it, it needs to be the same. And that's what they've changed, and that is great. So thank you. And another thing that I need to mention is the fact that they've brought in more buttons. So usually these types of cars aren't going to have volume control in the cabin. It's all going to be built into the screen, and your passenger then has to go and swipe down and click this and flick that to be able to do volume. Well, not anymore, because now volume has been brought and it's now in the center console here, where you can also go and change your drive modes, do your volume, select your 360 camera system. So all of the stuff that you would need to activate on the fly, you can do here quickly.
Please continue.
No, thank you.
Sorry. This question anytime.
Stop. So here it is, the outside of the new Tiggo Cross. And I must say, this is a very good looking compact SUV that Chery have brought out. There's not too much that I can actually complain about from a design point of view, but you can see that it's still part of the Tiggo 4 range, with this now being the top spec version for the Tiggo 4 that I've been able to notice. So up front here, you're going to find a brand new design grille up front that kind of integrates from side to side with these new daytime running lights that come standard across the Tiggo Cross range. It's a lot of crosses there. The only difference that you'll really notice between the top spec version and the entry-level version of the Cross is that this top spec version comes with 18-inch wheels and red brake calipers, where the entry-level only gets 17-inch wheels and kind of standard steel-colored brake calipers there. And coming down the side of the car, you're going to find these contrasting colors down here on the door, as well as some contrasting roof rails on the top here, which together give this car a little bit of an adventure feeling. I mean, it is a compact SUV, so you should be able to drive it on all dirt roads and rougher terrain than a standard car, which also helps because you've got quite a bit of ground clearance underneath there, as you can see. So that does make it handy and quite practical when going on road trips. And then looking at the back here, you're going to find some new LED tail lights that run from one side to the other, and this design they're calling like a tiger stripe, which I think is quite cool, and it gives the car a very modern and striking look from the back there. You've also got your new cross badging, because this isn't a Tiggo 4, it's the Tiggo Cross, so it is slightly different. And again, sorry that the car is dirty, but our monsoon season here in Johannesburg has just not ended, so I apologize that the car isn't that clean. And then hopping into the inside, I think you're going to be quite pleasantly surprised with how premium it feels inside here. I mean, you've got some really nice feeling material, contrast stitching on the dash, it's soft touch, as well as in the front of the dash are two soft touch materials, contrast stitching, actual buttons. So the Chinese, hey, yes, they have listened to us, they've brought buttons in here. You've also got this nice display kind of built into your center console, where you'll see, if I turn the car on properly, this is where you're going to be able to find your climate control and the whole menu that it comes with over there. Again, buttons for your fan, buttons for your temperature for you and the passenger. So overall, so far, a really great interior, because they've thought about the user and they've made it very user friendly. In front of the driver and for your infotainment, you've got 10.25-inch displays. So this is new for the Tiggo, and I'm going to call it the Tiggo 4 because this is essentially what it is. But now you've got two digital displays that are making one big display all the way in front of the driver. And then on the steering wheel, you are going to find your buttons for your cruise control, for your adaptive cruise control to adjust the distances over there. And then on this side, you've got all of your multimedia, from your volumes to answering your phone calls and muting, changing the track and all of that. So This is a really nice interior to sit in, and there's not too much that I can complain about, other than the fact that this seat is built so close to the center console that it makes quite the racket when you're driving. But otherwise, the seats are sporty, they're comfortable. I think the only difference that you aren't going to get from a design point of view on the inside here compared to the entry-level version of this is also specifically the sunroof. So you get it in the top spec version, but you don't get it in the entry-level version, unfortunately. And then taking a look at the space in the back here and what your passengers get. So that's in my driving position, and I am 1.87 meters tall. So I'm quite a tall guy, but I still managed to sit quite comfortably back here. I've got some space in front of my knees. I am able to push my feet under the seat slightly, but not too much. Luckily, this has got quite a flat floor, so thankfully you can sit with someone in the middle here quite comfortably too. But something to take into account for the entry-level version of this car is that you don't get these this built-in three-way point seat belts, which to me is a bit strange. Like, it's a seat belt, make it the same on all versions. I mean, this is your safety. But other than that, you've got a nice little armrest with some drinks holders. You've got a little venture for your climate so that you can get whatever's being set up front there, as well as a USB type A. No USB type C, unfortunately. Okay, let's try this gearbox, and foot flat. See, it reacts okay. Now, I eased off of the I eased off of the accelerator quite early there, but it still tends to keep revving, so it doesn't kind of understand that with my throttle inputs what I'm wanting the car to do. So it didn't change the gears, and it didn't, I don't know. See there, over rev, 4,500 RPM, and that's not what I wanted. Now I'm going to ease off to change. Okay, there it did slightly better, but it's not great. And I'm driving in eco, and this car is performing like I've put it into sport mode. So I don't even want to try put it into sport mode, because I don't think that there's even a reason to need to do that. In eco, it's performing just like that. Now, talking a little bit more about the fuel consumption, this is what Chery claims as their fuel consumption on this car, okay? But I've been able to get slightly close to that. Again, these types of cars have still got that stigma about being heavy on fuel, which unfortunately they are. So yes, they're still listening to their consumers and changing key functions and how the car operates to make it a better experience. But what people truly want is better fuel economy, because then they're getting a car that is affordable, has a lot of features and technology, but also is light on fuel, or at least better than this. If they get that right, then these cars, I don't even know what's going to happen to our market, because it's going to make a significant difference, even more than what they're currently doing now. All I can hear is this creaking over here. It's okay. You will make this driving experience better, would you? Hey, Chery. Okay, and then onto the verdict in the form of the GDR test. Should you get it, drive it, or remove it from the list of cars that you're looking at? Now, I would say go and drive it. I'm not going to say don't get it, because I do think that this is still a nice car. It's priced really, really well, and you're getting a lot of kit and features for it. Now, I know that previously I'd driven a GAC, and I said don't get it because of the gearbox and how that car drives and the throttle response and all of that. That was a much sportier car, but I do feel that this is still slightly better. Yes, this is still slightly better than that. So I would say go and drive this, because this car has a lot to offer. It's priced well, you're getting a lot of kits, you're getting a lot of features, you're getting that really good warranty from Chery too. You're getting a good looking car overall as well. A lot of good ground clearance. So there's a lot of positives about this car, except for the fact that this gearbox isn't great, which makes your overall drive not that great, and your fuel consumption also not good either. But I do feel that there's a bit of a balance there with the features, technology, and overall value for money. So yeah, go and drive this if you're interested in seeing what this Tiggo Cross has to offer. And if you are interested in going to get yourself a Tiggo Cross, or even a Tiggo 4 or a 4 Pro, then go check on out on changecars.co.za. They're a website that sells new and used cars, but the best thing about them is that they vet and check every single dealership that sells cars on their website, essentially making them the safest online platform to buy and sell cars in South Africa. Another great thing about the website is that you can also go there and watch car reviews. You could do financial things like seeing what you can afford per month from a finance point of view, and you can bring them quotes from dealerships that aren't on Change Cars, and not only will they match it, but they'll beat it too. So they've got a really cool feature called Beat My Quote, where you'll literally get a better deal on any of those cars that you bring to Change Cars. I think that that's pretty cool. So go check out changecars.co.za, that also a proud partner of Greg Dennis Reviews. So thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a whole bunch more about this new Tiggo Cross. I think it's a pretty cool car, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy this, please will you drop a like below, and if you want to see more videos like this and other car reviews and other car content, then please consider subscribing. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.